legal, like paralegal stuff. She's been doing it for like 40 years, especially in the divorce area, but she's also got a background in family counseling. And what we're doing with her is peaceful custody agreements. So for any of you that have ever had, just because a marriage doesn't work and the couple divorces doesn't mean that the kids have to struggle or be punished as well. And
Joe,
so,
please, I'm not going on the screen today. Please keep me in mind because that's my background in terms of financing, especially when it relates to that issue as well as homeownership afterwards. There are plenty of issues related to that that I have a background in.
yeah, it's I
Oh,
have invited Kathy to the group. She came once, I think.
Well,
But
if you want to, I'll put my information. If you want to submit her name or whatever to me or her number or give her my information to reach out to me, she's welcome to. Right? And if I can't help her because I don't have the financing source in that state, I'll find a source to help her out or her
sounds good.
clients out.
All right. Any other shout outs or acknowledgments or announcements? All right. Well, I do have a topic. We if we get a little more people, we can do breakout rooms, but let's go around and do some self introductions, but with a theme. So the first question, we'll probably do this question with three or four or five people, and then we'll change the question. But let me share my screen. And the question is, what traits or characteristics set great leaders apart? There's good leaders, there's mediocre leaders, there's poor leaders, there's people that can't lead at all. But what are the traits or characteristics that sets great leaders apart? And let's start with Will Hanley.
well, I have a hero in my life that was a man's man. I've got his
Oh, Will,
pistol.
also
Huh?
introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm William Hanley. I've been in the group for about 4 months. Really enjoy it. The people here are fantastic. As far as that question goes, my father was a leader among leaders. When he passed, they lowered the flag at the Capitol. But he had great humility, and I talked to him a few times about what made him a leader. And he, of course, with humility, so I'm not a leader, a great leader, but if it's anything, it's that I was always calm when other people were not. And what he meant by that was interesting because he fought in World War II hand to hand with Nazis, and in the dead of night with his soldiers as a colonel. So he was a leader of the Japanese American group, which is very famous. And him saying that had a big effect on me, being calm. And he didn't know anything about the spiritual stuff that we do or centeredness and mindfulness, all that. He just got that from his father, actually. So, but he was very, very, very good at it. Whenever he walked into a room, all other men turned to him just automatically. And he said that was his quote, secret power was that he was always calm.
The
So,
calm in the middle of
yeah,
the storm.
pardon me?
Calm in the middle of the storm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's a trait that I admire.
All right, cool. Well, let's go next to Robert John. Introduce yourself, and what do you think traits or characteristics set great leaders apart?
Hmm, great leaders. They're able to listen really well. When they're with you, you feel like you're the only one. And they see something that inspires you and take action. That's my answer.
They inspire you to take action. I like that. Well, tell us a little more about you, Robert.
I'm a strategy and business consultant. I come up with out-of-box solutions to problems you have day to day and help your companies grow and add parts and pieces that are missing with people and instruments and softwares and stuff so your life is easier and it flows through. So that's what I do. I make things flow. Money,
Robert,
people,
I
energy.
I did a one-on-one with Robert, and Robert's pretty badass. He He sees solutions to problems that you might not see because of his background and his training, and what he does have outside the box solutions. So Rob, if you haven't done one-on-one with Robert, please put your contact information in there, and let's make sure people do a one-on-one with you.
Okay, thank you.
Phil Wolfstein, introduce yourself and tell us what do you think are the traits or characteristics that sets great leaders apart?
I would say first for the traits, I would say listening, somebody who can really listen and hear. I think somebody that is willing to take a risk, think outside the box, like as Robert was alluding to. I think that you have to be willing to act and have the self assurance and self confidence to do, to lead and to make those decisions. Yeah, it's Phil Wolfstein. I'm a certified business broker with Zoom Business Brokers. And like I like to say, I help business owners find qualified buyers for their business. And I had trouble logging in here this morning, Joe, a few minutes late. But on the shout outs, I'd like to shout, to say just a shout out for you. I think you're a really dynamic leader yourself, and I want to thank you for introducing me to Marilyn Pope, who I see is on the call here this morning. Marilyn, looking forward to speaking with you a little bit later. So great to meet you on this call.
Very good. Very good. And Alan Hansen, why don't you introduce yourself, and what do you think are the characteristics or traits of great leaders?
Um, well, I'm sorry, I kind of came in a little late and I was having a lot of problems with my speaker, so I had to restart. But I'm Dr. Alan Hansen. I'm a sports psychologist. I work with teams. Right now, I'm working with one of the Grand Canyon University teams on their mental performance. And the whole idea behind mental performance is enhancing people's focus and confidence as they go through sports and through life. So I'm in Avondale, Arizona, and
Every week.
I'm always doing something new. So, in fact, I just was selected to be a chairperson for Concordia St. Paul to be on their dissertation committee. So I start that here now. So, but that's just a part-time job. That's just something I do.
So do you do the sports psychology with athletes only, or do you apply that to business?
No, it's professional too. Doctors, surgeons especially are into it. Military, big time into it. In fact, I recently wrote an article on LinkedIn about how Space Force needs to use sports psychology. And a friend of mine's a CEO of a consulting firm. He read it and he thought it had was of great benefit. So,
Wasn't Dr. Dennis Waitley, wasn't he a sports psychologist as well?
yes.
So yeah, the sports psychology doesn't just apply to sports, but to the mentality of champions.
No, but
right?
my practice is usually working with athletes and coaches uh, because that's what I like to do. I was at IBM for 32 years as a systems analyst and kind of a computer guy, and then got into data center program management. For the last 5 years, I was there. I've managed three data centers across the United States. And the reason I got into sports psychology, I retired and wanted to do something else. So
Very good.
that's where I'm at.
All right. All right, let's go to Dr. Kiana, and then Christopher, be ready because we're going to start introducing our new guests.
Hello, I'm Kiana Williams. I am, my background is real estate, so I'm the money girl. I'll help you get the money, help you protect it, and also support investors and creative strategies. I would say the most important trait that I like follow is to lead by example, because I don't believe in asking your team or people that you're training to do things that you haven't done before or aren't willing to do. I think it's just nice to keep that fairness and equality there.
Very good. All right. So we're kind of moving into the new guest area. I see Christopher. Is anyone else new here? Has Mike Chowdhury been here before?
Yeah,
Mike,
it's my first time. I'm introduced by
oh, we'll
Dr.
come to you in a moment, Mike. So
Sure.
we'll go Christopher first. So Christopher, introduce yourself and who you are, what you do, and also, the topic that we have on hand is what's the characteristics or traits of great leaders. But why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Christopher?
Sure. My name is Christopher Dini. I'm from Salem County, New Jersey. I specialize in natural kratom products from Indonesia. That has been our focus for 10 years. We do education, advocacy, and consumer education as well. So
Christopher,
that's
where are you out of?
we're in Salem County.
He's in Jersey.
Wait, Chris, I got it. I'm sorry. Where in Salem County are you?
Our business is in Quinton, right out of Salem, outside of Salem City.
No, I was born in Salem.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're right down the road from Hoodox, if you know that.
No, but I have an idea of. But anyway, I had to jump in because I was born right in Salem Hospital. So
Yep, they're 10 minutes away.
and I lived there for the first 5-6 years of my life. So all right, I'll stop. Thanks.
So
Moshe, you
Christopher,
just shed a new light on us because I thought you were hatched.
Now,
There's been some rumors about that, but thank you, Bob, for bringing it out into the public.
somebody asked Elon Musk, is he from another planet? He said, I can neither confirm nor deny. So
yep,
Christopher,
exactly.
I have your product, Kratom. What, I don't think everybody knows what Kratom is. Why don't, if
Sure.
you don't, I'll tell them, but go ahead.
Yeah, sure. It's a leaf. You can see the trees behind me. Those are actually kratom trees, and it's just leaves of a tree. And the leaves are ground down into tea. And then you put it in hot water and make tea. Seems simple enough, but it's had a lot of controversy over the years of what is this plant? Where it's new to the United States, what does it do? And a lot of the science has come out in the last 5 or 6 years, and it's quite beneficial for a lot of people. I found it. I was looking for something to help me with pain. I was hit by a car at 8, prescribed opiates 15 years, looking for something natural. So, had a heart attack at 36. So I'm like, okay, I need something natural, something that I can depend on. And I just came across Kratom and I was just blown away. Took my pain from about an 8 to a 3 and make a couple cups of tea a day and I can manage it. I don't have to worry about taking a bunch of pills every day.
Yeah. So, Kratom is a painkiller. It's a natural, organic, it's safe, it's natural, it's effective. It hits the opioid receptors without that severe addiction that other opioids have. So if you have pain and you don't want to, a bag of this is like 25-30 bucks. And it's probably got, I don't know, 40 or 50, doses in it. And I don't like the taste of it. I think it tastes terrible. I take the capsules.
Yes, it does.
I take the capsules, but I'll take I can be in like pain and take, about 6 of these capsules. And 30 minutes later, I just feel the pain just dissolving out of my body. Like he said, it'll take a 7 or 8 pain and drop it down to a 2 or a 3. And it's a wonderful alternative to alcohol or opiates or some of the other painkillers. So if you have pain in your body and you don't want to go to the doctor, you want a safe and natural. I think, Christopher, you should probably talk to Patrick O'Flynn. He's into natural healing and natural remedies. So you guys should talk. But I'm a bit, I didn't know what kratom was. And, Christopher sent me some. I've reordered from him. I said, just send me $100 worth of the capsules. And he put together a nice care package for me. And I'll tell you, it's nice. Sometimes the Advil and the ibuprofen just doesn't hack it. And I really don't want the addictive stuff. And so it's a wonderful, natural way to deal with pain. So Christopher, welcome to the group. And
No, by the way,
Thank you for having me.
just so you know, Advil is harmful to the kidneys, and Tylenol is harmful for the liver. So keep that in mind. In fact, I know there's been a study years ago that if aspirin coming out today, it would be a prescription medicine as opposed to being able to be purchased over the counter.
Yeah, I remember taking as a kid all the time the Tylenol codeine or the opiates with the codeine or the opiates with the Tylenol and them mixed up. And
You didn't take
thank
Dar.
God.
You're not. Come on. You're old enough to take Darvocet.
Darvocet, I had bottles of Demerol as a teenager, so it was that bad.
You
So
know, Christopher got hit by a car, and he's had several knee surgeries, tremendous amount of pain. But the doctors, they give you the bad drugs, but God also created some safe botanical things. So let's go down to Mike Chowdhury. You're
Christopher,
new to the
meanwhile, I
group.
think that may be the biggest coffee cup I've ever seen on a screen.
yep,
Oh my
that's it
God,
right
look at
there.
that. Oh my God. Christopher, where are you out of?
Salem County, New Jersey.
And you have a contact information on your,
Yeah, I just put it in the chat.
and I love plant-based stuff you just mentioned. And it's basically, we should bring it up to the attention of the Congress that what they're giving us is synthetic pills. Synthetic pill is bad for the human system, human beings. And if you want to get cured, don't take anything synthetic. Don't go to the stores which are multiplying, Walgreens and
Yep.
Walmart. They've got nothing to issue. And I'm not a doctor, but I just figured out the hard way how, they're harming us.
Yeah, our new administration's quite aware of natural kratom. RFK and our new FDA commissioner, Marty McCary, they're very familiar with it. They're taking it head on. They're going after synthetic kratom.
Right.
There's been synthetic kratom products in the market for a long time, especially
Right.
the last 2 years. They're tired of the synthetic kratom products messing up the good name of kratom.
Right.
So that's it. So we're going to see some action over the next few
In
months.
fact, it's a good subject you brought it up because in India, we have yoga, which is going on for 5,000 years. And when the COVID happened, I remember there was one group which was curing and reversing all these COVID patients. And they started suing him and they were starting and screaming and yelling him. And he says, why is your vaccine not helping us? And since they were backed up by WHO and all those medical pharmas, there was a big argument. And he says, you have not answered a single question and you're putting pressure on me. But your patients are coming to me and I'm reversing it. It's not a crime to save somebody else. And if it's hurting, why are you pushing it? Now, 1,000 doctors are suing him because he took away his patients. So what you hear, the doctors have interest only for you. And they're helpless too. I don't blame them because they're run by the big pharma.
Yep.
And
It's a mess. I'm hoping it's going to get cleaned up a little bit.
it'll never get cleaned up because there's a big business. There's a lot of money
It
involved
is.
in this shit.
Yep,
And for
all money.
every pill and any discovery comes in this state. I mean, I had a friend from I just met him, and I'm from California, by the way. And
Mike,
he had
Mike, introduce
I'm
yourself.
cutting it off. Okay, Mike Chowdhury from Redlands, California, and I am a real estate what do you call
Agent?
Site. Yeah, I'm an agent, but at the same time, I love real estate. I mean, it's in my blood, and I bought some and I lost. I'm trying to recover, and also I'm a caregiver. So, and my passion is helping people with their health
Awesome.
and trying to see if they can be healthy without pills. That's about it.
Excellent.
Mike, are you on LinkedIn?
No, I'm just, I'm not on LinkedIn.
Okay.
How did you find out about the meeting today, Mike?
Yeah, Dr. Quinn, she brought me. I happen to know her.
Very nice, Dr. Kiana. Good job.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So let's shift out to the next question here. Let's see. What is something, this can be in business, this can be in life. What is something you long to believe to be true, but later you realized it wasn't true? What is something you believed to be true?
That's a tough one.
But then you found out later it wasn't true. And let's see, who are we going to go to? Let's go to Marilyn. Marilyn Poppy.
All right. Hello, everyone. I think what comes to mind for me is that
introduce yourself first and come back to that.
Okay. So I'm Marilyn Poppy. I am a dream builder life coach, and I help women who are unfulfilled, frustrated, and they've had a level of success in their life, but they just are feeling something is missing. So I help them to discover their purpose, create their dream, and live a life that is filled with passion. And something that I believed was true up until now is that my circumstances were set in stone. I had no control over them, and now I believe and realize that I'm more powerful than any circumstance, situation, and condition. That I create that, and that's what I help women do.
That's
Very
great. Marilyn's a client of mine, and Marilyn. So in a way, she helps you manifest dreams, but in a way, she's in the. If you think that you can't manifest your dreams, and you work with Marilyn, Marilyn also is she's kind of a miracle maker. She helps you if you have dreams and you're a little bit stuck. Marilyn can kind of help facilitate, manifest that dream happening, and I would say it's in the miracle manifestation space as well. Marilyn, by the way, are you on my calendar for your next call, or we need to get you back on the calendar?
If you would please send me the link again. I've been out of town. I've been gone, so I would love to have the link again.
All right, no problem.
Thank you.
And let's go to Bob Friedenthal. What's something that you long believed to be true, but then later realized it wasn't? Introduce yourself first.
My wife's in the background. We're in Scottsdale visiting our grandchildren. Oh my God, it's funny. Well, you know what?
Introduce yourself first.
My name's Bob Friedenthal. Under LinkedIn, it's under Karen, Caryn, and Bob Friedenthal, Friedenthal. I call myself a LinkedIn lunatic. I'm obsessed with LinkedIn. I've watched it go from when Microsoft bought them a number of years ago for 16 billion, something like that. It's now worth something like $33 billion. So it's had a, relatively large increase. And it's a business platform. It's where business people go to meet each other and connect. And I'm still obsessed with it. I still love it to pieces. But what I do is I help people. I manage their LinkedIn accounts for them. I have a staff of people that help me manage my clients' LinkedIn accounts. And what we do is we do two things. Number one is we help connect to new people, and then we help grow it, which is really the main objective of LinkedIn is, look, there's a reason why LinkedIn has grown to such a huge valuation. It's got the most professionals of any website on the planet. So I still
Bob is
value
helping
it.
me with my LinkedIn, and he's making sure that those new connections are growing all the time. And his team is they also send messages to my contacts to just kind of ping them and make them aware of who I am and what I'm all about. But Bob, the question is, what's something you long believed to be true, but you realized later it wasn't true?
That's a good question. Look, the whole thing, I guess the only thing is hitting my mind is all this stuff on AI. It's kind of interesting. My brother-in-law is best friends with Mark Spitz. Everybody know who Mark Spitz is? The swimmer?
World champion swimmer,
Okay.
gold medalist.
Yeah. So yeah, 7 gold medals in the 73 Olympics.
Right. Oh.
And he's such a nice guy. But my nephew called me up. This goes back, I'm thinking 4 or 5 years ago. he called me up. He says, "You got to watch this amazing interview of Mark Spitz." So I watched it, and then I called him back. Amazing, amazing interview. My nephew then told me that was all done by AI. It wasn't even Mark. So that's the worries that we have today. How much of the stuff out there is actually artificial and is not really the individual? That's a little scary. Anybody have comments on that?
I agree. We're seeing these videos come out where people are saying things, and it's just like they didn't say that. That was AI, you know.
And by
So
the way, I'll to add, my cousin already told me that he and his wife have a code word. So that way, if someone calls and says it's an emergency or whatever, if they don't know the code word, they'll know that that's not a real call, as opposed to, because of the AI imitation. So that was something that I have. In fact, I'm about to talk to my wife about that. But I suggest that everybody have something like that set up so that if God forbid something happens, you know the real from the pretenders.
you
That's
know,
a
I
great
I, got,
suggestion.
I signed up for this
And
webinar and I didn't show up to it. And I got this phone call, ring, ring, and I'm talking, and it's like it sounds like a human being, but I start asking questions, and all it did was it just kept trying to move me towards the sale. And it's like I started asking questions, and it would, it's like, oh, I'm not talking to a human, I'm talking to a machine that has no soul. Like, and it really kind of pissed me off because I was being faked into thinking I was talking to a human being, and I wasn't.
But Joe, the great thing, the great, the
So,
great, the
uh,
great thing about my city is everybody here is real, organic. We can connect with them. We can share things with them. You know?
That's the key, isn't it?
all right, we're gonna
We
shift.
we trust them. We trust them.
We're gonna shift the question. We're gonna go Eileen and then you, Patrick. So, but the new question. So, Eileen Dawson, you're gonna introduce yourself, and your question
Hi there.
is who is introduce yourself, and then who is your competition, and how are you different or superior?
Okay. Let's see. What I do is I teach personal finance to individuals and companies and small businesses. I would say the difference between me and another coach in my industry would be that some coaches are high end, where I work more with mainstream. So I work with, the average family, the average individual in terms of salary. I'm not, half a million plus. So that might be what kind of distinguishes me.
Okay.
Did I answer both questions? I think.
Yeah. What makes you different or superior? So, what makes you superior? Why are superior? Being a good choice is good. Being a great choice is good. Superior choice is kind of, I know what else is out there.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the one way I stand out. What's the one way you stand out?
I would say my track record and the success that I've had with clients stands out. When I promise something, I deliver it as far as, helping people. So,
Well, I had a one-on-one with Eileen, about a month ago, and she knows what she's doing. If you haven't had a one-on-one with Eileen, you should, just at the very least for networking. But she does provide a great service for people that want to get their financial stuff together. Patrick O'Flynn, introduce yourself and who is your competition and how are you different or superior?
Thank you, Joe. My name is Patrick O'Flynn. I'm from Ireland, and I'm working in the health space. I'm a health educator, and the health space is an enormous space, an absolutely enormous space, and we're all aware of the different um, good things that are out there. But as you said when on our one-on-one, Joe, you said there are good things out there that we don't know about. And this is the space I am in, where I am promoting the health science breakthrough of redox signaling molecules that no other organization has, impacting every system, every organ, and function in the body. I mean, we had these as we produced them in abundance when we were younger, but as we got older, we produced less of them, and depending on lifestyle and all that. And this is why, as we get older, we get a bit, we begin in some cases to rust away. But I want to fade away naturally and be the last person standing in the pension scheme. And this is one way of considering this. I can share a link with you if you share your details with me. My details are in the chat. And thank you for being such a gracious host, Joe.
What is a redox mechanism? You're welcome. Thank you for thanking me. I appreciate being appreciated.
Well, the redox mechanism is cellular communication. For instance, you get a signal when you're hungry, or thirsty, or cold, or tired, or elated, or fed up. But you also get a signal for your senses. For instance, you get a signal when you want to go to the bathroom in the middle of the day or the middle of the night, which is really, really impressive. You wake up at 5 in the morning, you go to the bathroom, you go back to, I mean, you've got a really good signal there. So cellular signaling at a functional level is now the new pillar of health. It's non-toxic, it's non-addictive, it can't harm you, and it might do you some good.
Very good. Phil, your lips are moving. Were you talking, Phil? You're muted. All right, let's go to motion math. Can you introduce yourself and tell us who your competition is and why are you different or superior?
I don't like to use the word superior. Different is probably more appropriate. My name is Moshe Math. I am a partner in a company called Neuro and Trained Sciences. Our systems are in the health and wellness area. We do what they call brainwave entrainment, and we achieve that through the use of sound, light, and vibration. So brainwave entrainment is when your computer freezes. It's either too heavy and bulky because it's a desktop or too expensive because it's a laptop to throw against the wall in frustration. So what you do is you turn your computer off and on again. Where it reboots, resets, and forgot I had a problem. And that's what we're doing with the brain. And in the process, we're able to help with stress and anxiety relief. We do have a 30-minute sound session as well for pain. And we have other sound sessions for things like different levels of meditation or for greater concentration. But these are all individual sound sessions that go along with the other attributes, which is working with the optic nerve of the brain so the sound can penetrate to the brain directly and create these different changes.
Well, I want to recommend, Pusha, that you
Oh.
meet with Christopher Dini.
I thought of it earlier. In fact, I have some ideas in terms of how to increase, I think might help increase his business, but so there's no question. The question is what makes me superior?
Or superior?
Nothing makes me superior. No. I'll tell you in terms of the athletic world, what helps us achieve is we can help accelerate sports recovery. And the reason we do that is because we're not touching you in any which way. And so in the process, as someone said to me who was a retired boxer, he goes, your system works from the inside out. Most modalities work from the outside in. And that's what makes us so effective as sports recovery. Because if they feel better, they can then take advantage of the other methods they use for recovery much earlier in the process.
Wow, with sports recovery and stuff, I think Alan Hansen would be a good person for you to connect with too. And Patrick, you see, got your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, for instance, the wonderful transformation I've had. I'm a type 1 diabetic for the last 49 years. I'm on over 60% less insulin, right? 4 times a day. And I can read without my glasses. And you can test me out if you like, Joe. Now, that is impressive.
That is impressive. Is there anybody who hasn't gone yet? And do we have a 7-minute spotlight today?
He's not here today. He was supposed to be here.
I thought the spotlight was Bob. No, seriously, I'm not being facetious. I thought that was you today.
Oh, no, it's a guy Sal with that
Okay.
company.
Well, I can always go. Um,
Yeah, go for it, Joe.
yeah, I'll tell you what. Let's see. Is there anybody who has not gone yet? Is like everybody gone? You know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share some slides for a presentation I put together for yesterday. And I'm going to go through these real quick. So if somebody could help me keep time, because I don't want to go over 7 minutes. And I did this presentation on how to make money as a coach. May not be universal, but a lot of people are good coaches, but they suck at marketing and selling their coaching. And as a result, they don't have enough clients, so they're unpaid. And so, one of the things I do help people do is get paid as a coach. And my promise is even if your sales are low or non-existent now, you can make good money as a coach if you have the right system. And of course, if you have the expertise. I worked with Christopher Burns. When I met him, he was going to he probably spent $30,000 on personal development seminars, but he wasn't making any money. And I took him from 0 to 5K months within 6 months. How do I also worked with Nina when I worked with her. She had 3 jobs and she hired me and I helped her quit 3 jobs and have her one business. And, she was being kind of enslaved on those jobs. And she called me up and said, Joe, I'm making enough money. I was able to give notice on all my jobs today. And I said, is your income matched? She said, not quite yet, but she said, if I didn't quit, I would kill somebody, and killing isn't nice. So I went ahead and quit my jobs. So I also worked with Gigi Sabat when she started working with me. She was struggling to make money as a coach, and I helped her how to understand how to get paid as a coach. And now she's an author of several books. She's a speaker. She hosts a lot of events. She's a philanthropist, and she just graduated from law school. So, it's really cool that I get to work with people. My story is I've made $1 million. I've lost everything. I've come back. And, after I lost everything in the 80s, I went on this obsessive compulsive quest for the truth of what really, really works in business. And I got blessed to be mentored by geniuses. I put a lot of hours learning my expertise, and I've served over 4,000 people in 400 industries. So why did I struggle and fail? I had the wrong map. I didn't, I knew technology, but I didn't know marketing. I didn't know sales. So I was mentored by this guy, Jay Abraham. He's the about $70 billion man. He's helped business owners increase their wealth by about $70 billion. I went to a $5,000 event. And after that event, his office called and said, you want to come to the next event? I said, I'd love to. However, I'm still trying to pay for the first event. And they said, we know, can you barter? I'm like, barter, what could I do? And they said, we need transcription. So they sent me boxes and boxes of audio recordings of decades of marketing think tank recordings, and they were sorted by 30 topics. And here's the 30 topics. But all of my transcriptions ended up going in the J. Abraham Marketing Encyclopedia. So I kind of gained this encyclopedic knowledge of marketing. And in 1999, I said, I'm no longer a tech guy. I'm a marketing consultant. So I've been doing this for 26 years. And I've also written a book, Resurrecting America's Entrepreneurial Spirit. Patrick has read that book. He bought that and read that, I think. So why do people not make money as a coach? Well, there's a lot of advice that's well-intentioned, but it's bad. It's poison. It's toxic. Just give away free sessions until you get clients, or you just need to build know, like, and trust, or, charge what you're worth, or just be authentic and people will buy. The universe will reward you when you're in alignment. Well, you got to implement too. Create a course and just go passive, or post more on social media and clients will come. These things are well-intentioned, but there's a lot more to it than these things. And there's so much bad advice of what it takes to succeed in any business, let alone the coaching business. So my philosophy is do what you love, share the love, receive the love. I think it's better to be self-reliant as an entrepreneur. So you don't have to be employer reliant or charity reliant or family reliant or government reliant or spouse reliant. And I also believe that you deserve, if you're going to be a coach, that you deserve to be profitable because you are an agent of transformation. And I believe you can succeed in business without buying or begging and free sessions are being undervalued. And like we said earlier, if you're not having fun, you're doing something wrong. So, a lot of times I think we're scattered. Uh, I think children are born as geniuses, then conditioned into mediocrity from the day we're born. Everybody tells us what to think, and we learn a lot of things that are not organized. One of the things I do with people is I do something called asset sculpting and value sculpting, where we figure out what is your one area of expertise. So are you showing up as scattered like a light bulb or focused like a laser beam? Who's going to have more impact, scattered you or laser focused you? And when you give in a more focused way, you can receive cash in a more abundant way. Second problem is a lot of people have everybody in this room has value, but that doesn't mean we articulate it well. So if we're articulating our value well, the confused mind buys nothing. Third problem is we don't have, leads every day. Our lead generation is weak or lacking. And the fourth problem is our offers are resistible. We haven't put together that irresistible offer. And we also need to improve our sales skills. And selling coaching is different than selling used cars, I'll tell you that. So it's not just my philosophy that do what you love, share the love, receive the love. It's also my business model. So if I'm going to help you be your own boss or job liberation, the three things stopping you typically are you don't have the right concept, you're invisible, and you're not making enough cash. We fix that by doing what you love. We fix your invisibility by sharing the love, and we fix the low cash by making sure that you're doing things so you can receive the love, receive the cash. And so choosing the business wisely, we want to make, I'm covering a lot in a short amount of time. How am I doing on time? We want to make 1 minute left. We want to make sure that, there is no leader without a tribe. There is no tribe without a leader. The highest paid person is the tribal leader. Want to make sure that people don't follow you as a person. They follow a cause. What do you stand for? And then you want to make sure you have that irresistible offer. And we need to be good at storytelling. Nobody wants to hear another commercial, but everybody likes a good once upon a time. And we need to promote to generate leads. We need to nurture those leads when they come in. And we want to fill our calendar with hot appointments, master the sales process, and deliver the goodies. At the end of the day, we want to keep our promises and deliver on our promises. And this is the basis of employee escape plan, a lot of my coaching. So if I've helped myself, I've helped thousands of others, I could help you. Would you like to be next? You've heard about Christopher, you've heard about Nina, you've heard about Regeline. I've coached over 4,000 people, but if you'd like to talk more, grab a spot on my calendar. And any questions real quick?
Did that perfectly.
Any questions? We'll take one or
Yeah,
two.
yes, Joe. Sorry, Joe, what I'm fascinated is, when you lost all this money, and then what was your cognitively or mentally, what were you thinking? Were you thinking I'm a failure? What am I going to do now? You're desperate, frustrated, and what happened that you got out of that? I know
Well,
there was something.
Yeah. My net worth was minus $250,000. I had suicidal thoughts.
Yeah.
The hardest things I had to do was walk into the Los Angeles County Department of Mental Health and say, I need help. I got counseling and I got counseling and I got medication, antidepressant type things. And that helped. But at the same time, simultaneously, this is when I started learning from Jay Abraham, marketing genius. And so I was really hungry. Every master was once a disaster. And I went on this obsessive compulsive quest for the truth of what works. I would, if it wasn't for my failure then, I wouldn't be the expert I am today because of that failure. It made me hungry to never, ever, ever fail at that kind of a big, huge level again.
So that really, Joe, is a serious personal achievement. Congratulations.
Oh, you know what? I never thought I would get out of it. The doctors and the meds helped, but what finally got me off of, medications was baptism. Going to sometimes depression is chemical and sometimes it's emotional, but sometimes it's a little bit spiritual too. And spiritual cleansing certainly eliminated my depression once and for all.
And that was an amazing. Go ahead.
Sorry, there are two things we cannot that are invisible: faith and fear. And you choose faith. You didn't choose fear, you know. And congratulations.
I was
Who
going to
else?
say that's a great point, Patrick. I was going to say that was an amazing 7 minute fill-in presentation there, Joe. I think when you talk about the word articulate, what strikes me is that when you're speaking, the clarity of the points you're making. I thought that was a wonderful presentation and right to point.
Thank you. All right. Well, we got about 9 minutes left. Any last minute thoughts, or maybe we go around the
I'd like
room?
to
What was the most valuable or useful about our call today?
Well, I was going to say I'd like to share something before you were talking about what the things that surprise you, right? There was a question about what is it that you believed to be true for a long period of time, and then came to realize that it wasn't. And on a macro level, it really kind of made me think real quick. What came to mind on a macro level would be globalism. I'm a global. I was in import-export trading for over 30 years. And I'm a hardcore globalist. I really believe that was the approach. No trade barriers, no regulations, allowing resources, labor, capital to freely move among the world under one global trading system. And I came to realize it was just wrong. Globalism as an ideology, as it turns out, failed, just like communism and socialism has around the world. That was a realization. The other on a micro level is as a business broker doing what I'm doing, intuitively you would think that entrepreneurs, like pretty much everybody in this call, that when you spend your lifetime, really 25 years building up a business and putting all your efforts, your energies, the relationships, probably spend more of your life in your business than you do with your wife and family or your husband and family at home. You would think that you would want to protect that, plan for it, and that you would value that, because at some point in time, common sense says, you're going to have to exit. You're going to go out one way or another. You're going out of the picture, right? So, at some point, ideally, while you have your health, if you've been successful, that you have a plan and a strategy to do that, because so many people in not only your ego, but so many people depend on that. Your family, your employees, your vendors, customers, and so forth. And what I intuitively thought would be that like 80-90% of people would be prepared or plan or think about that. And the reality is the opposite. It's an inverted pyramid. Is very 75 to 80% of people don't plan or do not have a plan. And that's kind of amazing. It's sort of it's just, I guess it's one of those things where you don't want to think about death. You don't want to think about selling your business and exiting your business. And yet it's so important and so critical for all of us as entrepreneurs and business people. I mean, that it's the day will come. And if you don't have a succession strategy, you don't have a plan, um, you're going to be very disappointed, because a lot of that goodwill and that equity that you think you've built and the goodwill that you have isn't going to be realized. And that's very that's something that I've come to realize.
Very good. One of the things if there's one thing I learned, I used to have this love affair with technology, and that's why my business failed, because the purpose of a business isn't technology, it's customers. The purpose of a business is to create a customer, and without human customers, you don't have a business and you will not make money. So let's go around, and I see some hands up. Why don't we start with Patrick?
Yeah, the biggest disappointment for me was I once, for too many years, I believed that the more qualifications you had and the more seminars you attended and the more engaging you were, it was absolutely positive. It was indicative that you'd get promoted. And that's a load of rubbish.
That's
Right.
true.
So Phil is right. You see, just leading on from Phil there, it's just a load of rubbish, because if the boss likes cricket, you have to learn about cricket if you don't know about cricket. And so this constant relationship, and it's nearly incestuous, but look at anyway, that's it. Thank you.
Robert, what was most valuable or useful for you today?
What was useful was the discourse and what people spoke about. And what I want to share is that I used to believe that business had lofty goals, but as it turns out, it's really to raise families and to survive better and build little better towns. So I found that businesses provide value for people, but is not for huge, incredible things, but for small little things mostly. And there are few people with larger purpose. And today you said, Joe, it's about the higher purpose, higher goals and visions, and that made me realize what's possible. So thank you.
All right. Bob, I see your hand up.
Well, I've been in this game for a lot of years, and the one thing that I've learned is you learn something and then you throw everything at it, right? But what we don't do is we don't change. And that's the biggest sin that you can do. You've got to be able to open your eyes, listen to people, listen to what they have to say, and then change as the times change. Look at AI. Look what's happened with AI. AI has changed the world. Well, you know what? We're at the infancy of change. We're going to always be at the infancy of change. So keep your eyes open, but be willing to change.
Very good. Christopher, you're new here today. What was most valuable or useful for you today?
Just listening to everybody else's conversation. I always feel like we all learn from each other. And I like when we have bigger groups and can all talk and, think and learn together about everything. We're all in business. We're all struggling with different things, but similar things. So it helps me listen to other people. I'm not the only one. Sometimes you feel like an island in a business, like, oh my God, but a lot of other people going through the same thing. So,
by the way, that slide presentation I did today, that's one of the things I'm teaching all my clients right now is how to put together a presentation like that. Eileen Dawson, what was most valuable or useful for you today?
I think that, even just paying attention to the focus, there were some great questions that just kind of get us to kind of bring all those B's together and figure out, okay, what are the priorities so that we're not spinning in 1,000 directions, what's going to get us the best results, right?
Dr. Kiana, what was most valuable or useful for you today?
I would say I'm kind of like Chris. I enjoy that everybody can come together because I feel like I'm a sponge and I love to constantly learn. So it's like everybody always has a gem to drop and I just absorb it and love it all.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Marilyn, what was most valuable or useful for you today?
I really enjoyed the questions that you asked and hearing them answered by the different ones, and then also the introduction of everybody to know what they offer and how they serve others.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure that we not only introduce ourselves, but get to know get to know each other at a deeper level. Moshe, what was most valuable or useful for you today?
For me, most valuable is just you talked about everyone has a story and getting your story out and
Amen.
hearing the different things that came out today is something that I will take with me after I leave this meeting and be able
Good.
to and hopefully be able to use to implement in life.
Alan, did you want to share something?
Yeah, I did. There was two things that were really beneficial that stick in my mind. One thing that Patrick said was, you go out there and you try to learn stuff and you think that just learning stuff will lead to success, but we have to change. And I think I'm in that spot. I've gone through my life thinking, well, I was a high school dropout and went back to school. I was going to college when I was in high school, so I dropped out of high school, continued at college, and got my high school diploma there. But when I was in my 30s, I got my first bachelor's degree, and then it just seemed like it woke up something in my head. But you know, I've always thought, well, I was working at IBM. Let me get a bachelor's degree that'll help at work, and let me get a master's degree that'll help. And it never really helped because I wasn't changing. And then, the idea that, we can get coaches to coach coaches. That's what I think I need. I need somebody to help me out and get me going. I'm working with Bob now, but I think I need a little bit more about developing myself into something more sellable.
Feel free to reach
So,
out.
I've-
Bob, I'll let you have the last word. What
Well,
was valuable for you today?
I've been in this game for a lot of years, and the one thing that I've learned over time is keep your mind open, because by the time you think you've learned something, it'll already have changed. And I'd love to hear people meeting with the other people in this group. So take your information in the chat room, copy it down, make a connection to somebody else in this group on LinkedIn, and then let's get some feedback as to some of the things that you're learning as you go forward. Do you like
Very
that?
good. All right, I have to go. I have another meeting. So everybody have a great week. See you next week and bring a
Thank you,
friend.
Joe. Thank you.
Have a great
Thank you,
weekend,
Joe.
everyone.
Thanks,
Thank
Bob.
you, Joe.
Great
Bye.
meeting. Good
Bye.
meeting.
Good meeting, awesome. Thank you.